This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
You're good. You're good. Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today? This is the Joe Gaither Show on a hump day. Happy hump day. This is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. You're hanging out with us inside the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios, just off McFarland Boulevard. We appreciate Derek and his team sponsoring the program, allowing us to talk our nonsense today. We're having a lot of fun on the Bama Central YouTube channel. We encourage you to subscribe to the Bama Central YouTube channel. Why? Because you can see head coach's Nate Oates' press conference yesterday. And after the game tonight, I would imagine my friend Hunter DeCiver will have Nate Oates' press conference tonight. So if you enjoy watching the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, on the Bama Central YouTube channel, and everything that goes along with it, we invite you to jump along with us. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. We appreciate everybody who has subscribed, rated, reviewed the show right there. Lots of you are doing it. So I want to say thank you very much to you who have hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform. My back-end numbers are seeing improvement, so that makes me very excited. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. What are we going to do today? We are going to talk about Alabama going over to Mississippi State. I believe a 1-point underdog on the road. Oh, yeah, maybe that'll give you the Alabama Crimson Tide some juice, the juice that they need to keep the season going. We'll talk about Nate Oates' press conference yesterday. We'll talk about what he had to say. How many Mark Sears questions did he get yesterday?
Too many.
Was it 3?
Too many.
It was, how did he respond? Who's going to start? It was, what did you say? What does it say about a program? All these questions. Look, I didn't go to the press conference yesterday, and I love all you media folks who are my colleagues, but I would have been rolling my eyes. And maybe I don't have enough. Okay, we can start right there. Perfect. We're here with Mason Woods. Let me tap him into the show right there. I don't know if they heard you right there. I think they did, but they didn't see you. We got Mason Woods in here. You can follow him at MAWoods_machine. Mason, I'll start right there. Am I just missing it? Because like when I was hearing these questions, I'm rolling my eyes. Am I just not a good media person? Am I just a bad journalist that I have moved on so quickly that I thought, okay, it flared up. Story went this way, went that way, went this way. Here we go. And like, I didn't really care what Coach had to say yesterday.
No,
about it.
I mean, we talked about it. We talked about it for almost an hour yesterday. It felt like it's just that it's kind of just beating a dead horse at this point. I thought the one question really that kind of irked me the most during that press conference, I think it was the last one of the bunch, and it was worded specifically as. I think it was, what does it say about a player's response when they're benched due to performance? And it was just like, you don't even know that was the case. You weren't there in the locker room. You weren't there on the bench talking to Mark Sears, talking to Nate Oates, talking to the assistant coaches. So you don't know. You don't even know that that's what happened. You're assuming, you're putting your own thoughts and feelings into what happened here, and then trying to get a response. And you heard Nate Oates. He didn't even know how to respond to the question because it was just like, what do I don't even know what to say to that. It's a ridiculous question. It really annoys me when, and it happens to every coach all across the country and every media appearance, I'm sure, but it is very frustrating when there's a handful of just disappointing questions like that, especially on something where it has already been beat to death on social media. Many people talked about it at length yesterday before that press conference even happened, on radio shows, on talk shows, on podcasts, whatever have you. It's just like there's just no need to continue to go after this topic. There's nothing there. There's no more meat on the bone.
There's a little more meat on the bone, but it's not much. I'll give it to you right here. Before you can be one of our friends on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube commenting on the show, like our friend Stingray. He says, "Ooh, Hail State will be heading to Starkville tonight to cover the game. I hope it's an entertaining game." I know my man Stingray graduated from Mississippi State pretty recently, so he's going to be excited. Appreciate you commenting on the show, Stingray. I did get your text. I'm not ignoring that. I will get back to you pretty much this afternoon, probably. Yeah, a little more meat on the bone. The only tidbit from the press conference that I thought, he threw Cliff Amore into the detention group, into the not detention, but into the doghouse.
Just kind of lumped them together.
Right.
Yeah.
And he says, best practice, best 2 day. I don't believe that. Best 2 day practice that we've had this season. Yeah. I'm sure it was good practice, but that just sounds real nice to say after you had a little internal drama.
Awfully convenient.
Sure. But he says Cliff and Mark were voted practice heroes, practice MVPs, practice best players both the days. And he says that Saturday, he acknowledged it. He said he had issues with Mark and Cliff. He said, but Cliff had the opportunity to go back into the game. I think that two things were a factor: depth, and you can't. You
got a lot more point guards than you do Cliff Amore.
Yes, exactly. And I think that whatever verbal, because I'm sure it wasn't just a one-way conversation. Sure. You're sitting on the bench the rest of the half. I'm sure it's a, hey, what do you see? What are we doing? What's this? What do you think? And he just wasn't happy with his answer.
It's just such a.
The only one more. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
It's just like, folks, we're just grasping at straws here. We're just looking for anything. It's like, people get benched every day. It wasn't even to even like really call it like a benching is a bit ridiculous to me. Even like it was one half of one regular season game that at the end of the season is going to be virtually meaningless. It's
spending a lot of time on a game that we're not going to think about the rest of the time of the year.
If it had been back-to-back games where Mark Sears doesn't play for 40 minutes, maybe we've got some real stories here. But like he sat for one half of one game against one of the worst teams in the SEC. It's not that big a deal, folks. It is not. It's just you don't have to try to spin a narrative out of it. There's plenty of other things to talk about with this basketball team that are very exciting. You don't have to create false narratives about drama.
I was exhausted. I'm exhausted with this topic. So unless you have more to it,
there isn't. I mean, there just isn't anymore.
Yeah,
And Mark Sears' mom ended it. She wrapped it up beautifully.
She really did to me, because she definitely extended the story on Saturday night, Sunday morning with her upsetness. But she also put a stamp on it on Monday by saying, hey, here's where my feelings were. Let's all move forward. I support Coach Oates and my son. She really did.
If the parties involved are ready to move on, you should probably be ready to move on too, if you're not even involved.
Exactly. All right. So you have the press conference yesterday, and it was all about Mark Sears. Is he going to bounce back?
Yes, he's going to bounce back.
Let's get into tonight's game. You're playing at 8 o'clock. And the most practical thing is, this was the first question, and Coach Oates didn't answer it, but he did circle back to it. He said, Blake Byler asked him how Mark has responded and if he's going to start tomorrow. And Coach gave him the responded great, blah, blah, blah. And he never answered if he's going to start. But he circled back, and he's like, I didn't mean to avoid your question. I'm just not sure who's going to start. Start right there.
It's just him.
You're lying.
Yes, yes, he is lying. He's lying directly to us. He's lying directly to all of us,
which is okay.
Yes.
Like I'm not mad at that. But
I would not expect him to tell someone, even if everyone in the country knows it. I would not expect him to show his hand like that.
Mark LeBaron. No, Mark LeBaron or Chris. And then it's gonna be. Jaron Grant Cliff.
Yep.
Okay. Or Mark LeBaron Chris Grant Cliff. There are three possibilities of what we're going to do with the starting lineup. Yeah. And if Mark's not in it, then you have a story, I think.
Sure.
But goodness gracious, are we stupid? You're not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, the best practice and best response in 2 days and blah, blah, blah. And you're not going to say that we're moving on and you're getting ready for Mississippi State. And then you're not going to start, because he knows if you don't start him against Mississippi State, this story is going to go off the bleeping rails. He's starting tonight. You can't use your 2 brain cells that you have.
That's, that, and we talked about it, you have to ask these questions. I get it. Someone's got to ask the easy the questions that we're all, someone has to address the elephant in the room. It sucks that, sometimes that one person has to get ridiculed a bit for it. It's it's frustrating that you have to ask those questions because a lot of people lack the critical thinking skills to take it an extra step further and think like, well, let's consider the context here and what maybe is happening. Is there maybe more to this? No, let's just be reactionary and talk about the drama that happened that night. We lack that in our society currently. So yes, we are forced to, people are forced to at press conferences ask the obvious questions and receive the obvious answers that we all know are coming. It is what it is. Ready to talk about the Bulldogs?
I got a feeling that this team's about to blow Mississippi State out.
That would be cool. That would be pretty cool.
Is that my gump coming out? Slow me down.
Might be.
Because State is good.
Sure.
And they've been, good enough. And they've been in almost every game this year. They're right there with some of these teams. Now, didn't they get beat? Didn't Kentucky beat them bad at home? Okay, Kentucky beat them by 5. Auburn smacked them. Auburn smacked them 88-66. And then Tennessee beat them by 12. They were on the road in both of those instances at Auburn and at Tennessee. I know they won at South Carolina. I thought they dropped a home game. No, yeah, the Kentucky game was a home game, but it was only by 5. I just have a feel like my personal feeling, like you just asked my gut, is that all this noise is for the annoyance that you're feeling from me through the microphone over this noise. I would imagine it's tenfold for the people in the program, and they're ready to let's just lock in and beat the brakes off this team and move on to Saturday.
Yeah, I would hope that is the sentiment, within that locker room going throughout the team right now. After letting LSU kind of hang around like they did, now obviously I know it was kind of tale of two halves that game where you performed really horrendously on the defensive end of the first half, and then at an elite level in the second half. So, but I still am weary to be that confident in this team. They have put up some good performances, but they throw some stinkers out there here and there. And I think they win. I don't feel confident necessarily that that this is any kind of statement victory. I think it's just going to be another one where it's like, all right, we got another one, but where do we stand with this team?
Are you sure? Because, and again, slow me down. Slow down the gump glands. They're pulsating big time. Mm-hmm. I am feeling because, okay, let's go back to the press conference yesterday. One tidbit that I thought was very revealing and that the Alabama fan base needs to hear and cling to the rest of the year. He says, if you start the game, you're not guaranteed to start the second half anymore the rest of the year. That's what he said. Now, that should be duh, but he's spelling it out for you. He says, I haven't been happy with the starts. And I haven't been happy with the starts of either half. Whoever starts the game in the first half, that's our decision. Who thinks going to give us the best? But that second half is going to be based off effort, performance, inclusion, energy. Yeah. So he's spelling this out to us in the media and to us in the fan bases and us, everybody. How do you think the team is hearing that? Because we've played this first half knockout game a handful of times. Mm-hmm. We really messed around with our food against LSU and came out and clamped it down in the second half. I wonder if the message, he just benched that guy all 20 minutes. I mean, they played their nuts off defensively in the second half. If you go, look, again, Gumpland, pulsating. Yeah, I'm just thinking, man, the threat. I'm threatening. I've got what is it? The prod, not the carrot, the prod. The rod is at your back, and if you guys don't play, you come into the bench. And I think he just showed that I will use the rod on anyone.
That's how they should feel. But we've seen instances this season where it's like, you go to Purdue earlier in the year, you get kind of punched in the mouth on the road, and you think, okay, well, maybe they're riding a little high. That'll bring them back down to earth a bit. And it's like, okay, you play good for a couple games, then it's, you lose again. You have a close one, North Dakota. You lose to Ole Miss. I don't feel super confident that this team takes those messages the right way because there's been opportunities this season for them to respond and bounce back in a way that we need. That we're kind of hoping they do tonight. and they haven't done it. We're still there's a lot of basketball left to be played, a lot of things to iron out with this team. I think maybe this is this method from Nate Oates of really emphasizing the willingness to change things up from one half to the next is what it takes to wake this team up and kind of galvanize them for the rest of the year, because this is the first time he's tried it. We haven't seen it yet, so it's something new. I think I'm gonna have to see it because they've not given me that confidence yet. That second half defense against LSU was cool, but that was one half of one game again.
To your point, the only 40-minute game I think you've played all year is over at Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, tonight.
That was when you knew you had to have it too.
Oh yeah, the threat was extremely high, and oh, you're gonna lose, and oh, y'all just lost. You need to have a good performance. Absolutely, like your back was against the wall. I wonder if coach is just like trying to create situations where how can I make them feel like your back is against the wall?
I mean, matchup wise with Mississippi State, looking at where they're ranked everywhere or the ratings here, 176 in adjusted tempo, like that bodes well for Alabama. What are they? Defense, 37th in defensive, 19th in offensive. So on paper, it really should be a pretty easy win for Alabama, but we've said that time and time again, and we've been proven wrong on a more occasion than one. So I don't know. I'm just going to have to see it from this team. I hope that this threat from Nate Oates of maybe we'll switch it up the second half. You're not guaranteed to come back out there. I hope that wakes the rest of the team up and, lets them all realize like, hey, we got to play 40 minutes, but I'm just going to have to see it.
What did he say about our buddy Darian Reed? Because Darian could be extremely, extremely useful in this game. So the official injury report is Darian Reed is listed as questionable. And I'm pretty sure Coach had a little comment on it. Yeah, here's his comment yesterday. Darian Reed's been going more and more. He's probably questionable until game day, but he did more in practice these last 2 days than he's done up to this point. I am not the trainer, and I don't make those decisions, but he looked pretty good to me. If he does get the clearance to finally go, we'll have 10 healthy available players for us.
I don't feel super confident in that answer.
I don't either, but I would love to see him locking down a Josh Hubbard. I would love, of course, that's not like the ideal matchup, but I just think he has the ability to guard anybody on the floor, and maybe your best individual defender on the team. I do think LeBaron's going to be able to, stay in front of Josh Hubbard, and maybe a little bit of Sears. Sears might be inspired in that area.
I mean, we've seen strong defensive performances from Sears where he's had those motivated games before. It's just they're kind of few and far between. Maybe this is one of them.
My biggest concern tonight is not Sears and it's not the effort. It is the two. It's rebounding the dang basketball, and it is not turning the basketball over. Simple as that. When you rebound the ball, Alabama, when you don't turn the basketball over, probably going to be winning most of these games. Here we go. They're forcing Mississippi State 9.6 steals a game. You think Alabama's defense has been good or okay? 6.5, 6.5. So they're averaging 3 more steals a game. Okay. Be aware of that. I'm fine with some live ball. It's the stupid turnovers. It's the stupid cross-court passes. It's the
panic ones where it's, I get trapped in a corner. Let me jump up and try to throw it to somebody. Yeah, no. Just be calculated. Know what you're going to do with the ball in your hand. Okay. I know you can still get out and run, but just do it calculated. You don't have to play wild.
Cam Matthews is going to be probably your X factor to focus on for Alabama. Obviously, Josh Hubbard, their scoring guard, but Cam Matthews, big-time forward, averaging almost 8 points a game, 8.7 rebounds a game, 4 assists, 3 steals roughly, and a block a game. So, Cliff, Jaron, Grant, going to have to get your big boy shoes on, box him out, and get after it over in the home.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen all season the games that Alabama has lost or struggled in. It's been because they turn the ball over a lot and they don't rebound well. Not a recipe for success.
Those are the things that, make me kick the dog in the couch.
Yeah, it's just we can live with missed shots. We can live with, guys going nuclear from the 3-point line, tracing Eagle staff. I can't live with just bad effort plays. And that's what turnovers and not rebounding is. It's when you're not boxing out because you're too lazy to go get a body on a body and force a guy to not, force a guy outside the paint. Or you don't want to make a hard pass, that's gets good Lord, gets to where it needs to go quickly. And, it's just laziness, and it's very frustrating.
Alabama still number 1 in tempo, has dropped to number 5 in offensive rating after the kind of poor performance against LSU. Still top 50 in defense, 43. And your strength of schedule ranked has gone from 1 to 2. Auburn is now 1 in strength of schedule, so good for them.
Did that defensive rating that jump? Was there any shift from prior to the LSU game?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention.
It was a really bad first half, so I guess you probably broke even on the day, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to what it was before the day. I know Alabama was at 1 going into in offensive rating.
Yeah.
All right, so
this should be a game where hopefully you can get that offensive rating back up.
I like. Let me look at this one real quick. Let me look at this. I like for my score tonight. Okay, I like. What did Auburn do again? Auburn got them 88-66. I think that's going to be about what we feel in here. Mississippi State averaging 80 points a game. Alabama 90 points a game. Mississippi State holding teams to 69 points a game, and Alabama holding teams to 78 points a game. I really like that Auburn score that they had. 88-66, 22 points. Yep. Now, I'm just going to copy it. Copy and paste. I will take 88-66 over again. The Alabama Crimson Tide has an inspired victory, and those who are writing the gamers have an easy time hitting send.
I hope that we see that. I'm gonna stick a little closer.
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
I'm gonna go 80.
Call the upset.
81-77. I think it's a nail biter. Bama inks it out.
All right. So what are you most concerned about? If it's 81-77, if it's a nail biter, what are you most like? I think Alabama's going to struggle with that
effort, beginning to end. We've seen it time and time again. I don't feel super good. I think,
all right. Will it take a NATO's technical foul?
It might. We might have to see him bust out the tech. I would love it. Throw something on the court. That'd be really
Holy moly. This is not sports related. But I just saw a headline that just popped on my phone from our friends at the Tuscaloosa Thread. Apparently, the Gordo police have found all the drugs in West Alabama. All the drugs in West Alabama. Every last one of them, which is fine. Great. Good on you. But that was the numbers that they just flashed in that. It was like 14 pounds of this and 15 pounds of that. I was like, oh, crap.
Good on them.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Gordo and reform, in Highway 82. If you're going to the game tonight, remember, do not speed through Reform. Do not speed through Gordo, through Pickens County, through Alice, through that area. As you're closing in on the Mississippi border, do not that is going to be a terrible ticket for you. They will get your butt. Mm-hmm. It is an 8 o'clock game, so you will be. It's going to be late 30 driving back to Tuscaloosa. Please be careful, because
I hope so. Hope we. That being said, do hope we see some gumps in the hump.
Oh, I think you will. From Vivid Seats on ESPN, tickets as low as $32.
Love to see that.
So if you want to get over there, you can. Alabama, look, this
top 25 matchup, folks.
Alabama, a 1.5 point underdog. Come on, coach. All you got to do is slap that -1.5 up on the whiteboard and say, "Go play, boys." Alabama, 53.8% chance to win, according to the ESPN Analytics matchup predictor. So they're leaning on to Mason's prediction. I like that. We'll see what happens tonight.
I sure hope that you're right.
I just think,
because I think
all the spit and venom and just nastiness is going to come out. And
if you get a game here where perfect storybook, Mark Sears comes out 5 for 7 from 3. He's draining shot. He's leading the team to a 20-point win. Like, that would be awesome for this team, and that would be, from a sure, you get a top 25 win, it's great, boost your resume, whatever. But like from a morale standpoint, from a mental standpoint for the team, it would be so galvanizing, I think, to take into the rest of the season. I don't know if it's going to happen. That's a little too fairy tale for me. I don't know if I can buy into it.
I'll be really concerned if effort's an issue tonight. I will be, because
it's this stretch coming up, boy.
Well, that and just the drama that the BS hooey that you've had over these 4 days. Like, look, I love Alabama basketball too, and I get really emotional too. But like, I try to save my emotions for what I think matters, and I don't think this matters. So if all this consternation has been occurring and you still get a bad effort, that will make me very, very concerned.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it continues to add fuel to the fire, give credence to the people that wanted to make a mountain out of a molehill here. And it, continues to drag this story out into next week, probably, if, God forbid, Mark Sears has a bad game and gets benched again in the second half. Something dramatic.
All he needs is one dunk. I don't think he can dunk, but just break away.
I bet he can. Maybe not with any defense around him, but if you give him 5 tries, I bet he's getting 3 of them.
Breakaway, Mark Sears, one. So
I just 40 minutes of effort is the big thing. That's the main thing. Do we see it? I do not know. I mean, we've seen it once this season, so I'm not going to hold out hope for it, but I'll be pleasantly surprised if we do see it.
You're going to pay attention to these other SEC games. We got Auburn is at LSU. Who cares? And Texas is at Ole Miss.
Neither of those are particularly interesting. Maybe Texas Ole Miss will be a bit of a good game. I mean, I think Auburn should win pretty handily against LSU, unfortunately.
Yeah, they did. Auburn, a 12.5-point favorite on the road. Ole Miss, a 6.5-point home favorite. Yeah, if you guys are all interested in those lines, I think those are about right.
Ooh, 3 games. Oh, after tonight, 3 games for Alabama until you really got to lock it in. Number 1 Auburn, number 20 Missouri, number 12 Kentucky, 14 Mississippi State, 8 Tennessee, 5 Florida, and number 1 Auburn again to close the year.
Disgusting.
Woo!
This is a disgusting stretch.
Golly. You got 3 tune-ups left. You got Georgia, Arkansas, and Texas. You better figure it out. Hey, and Georgia's feisty.
It's hard to call those tune-ups to me.
Georgia is very feisty. Texas is somewhat I think Arkansas you can call a tune-up.
Arkansas, if you don't beat Arkansas, I'll be offended, because Arkansas 56 in KenPom. You said Georgia 37 in KenPom. Texas is 36 in KenPom. Yeah. I'll be upset if you lose to Arkansas just for the simple fact of style clash.
Texas coming off of 2 ranked wins. They could not bode well for Alabama headed into that game.
All these games are quad ones.
Yeah. Not all quad ones are created equal.
Sure. How many? Let's see this net here. How many of these in a row? Come on, internet. Oh, you were just doing so good, but as soon as I click on net, you want to slow down and give me a little hell.
What do you think? What do you think you can get into Coleman Coliseum for that Iron Bowl of basketball right now?
75.
257.
Hey.
Neville Arena, 435.
That's the one I want to be at.
Well, obviously, unfortunately.
I hope the Auburn SID has a seat for me in the jungle. Badly.
Kentucky, those prices are going up to 170. Folks want to get in here to see Bama hoops.
See the tide roll, baby. All right, Mason, let's tell them about Derek Daniel and State Farm before we transition to yesterday's time at the Senior Bowl with Kalen DeBeor and much, much more. We are live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. You call Derek at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Derek and his team, Red, Reese, and Victoria, they'll be happy to take care of you. Just give them a call, 205-758-3391. Hey, I need a new auto insurance quote. Don't like what I've been paying. I don't think I'm getting good service. Derek will give you better service. Derek and his team will give you better service, and they'll be able to compare your rates right here with a quick phone call. 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Home, life, auto insurance. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel and State Farm is there. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Okay, what we want to start with as far as football. I got 2 Kalen DeBeor notes and then a Jalen Milroe note. So you can just pick. I got Kalen DeBeor on Ryan Grubb. I got Kalen DeBeor on the quarterback / Ty Simpson. And then Jalen Milroe's first day performance. What you want to go to?
Let's start with Milroe. I don't think any of these quarterbacks did themselves any favors at the Senior Bowl yesterday. I can't think of one overly impressive quarterback clip I saw from any of them that were there. I think I saw one nice throw from this guy that's from Canada that I guess got invited, but that's a fluke. it's a tough crop of QBs at the Senior Bowl this year. They are struggling to help what seems to be some pretty good wide receiver and tight end prospects look good. Guys like Elijah Arroyo, I know, was just getting balls lobbed 5-10 yards over his head. Guy from Oregon or North Carolina, blank on his name now, but also same thing, just balls getting overthrown. It was a tough day for all the QBs. I don't know if it was necessarily a great idea for Milroe to show up to the Senior Bowl.
Well, it was. I mean,
maybe not a great idea to play at the Senior Bowl.
You say that, and you're right. It was a bad day for all the quarterbacks. But with that said, Jalen was praised as the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
He said, lots of compliments. The line that you saw many times. Live arm. Oh, my God. Shoot me in the face.
Live arm means nothing.
Shoot me in the face, please.
That is that is such a backhanded compliment.
Johnny has a live arm. That means he has no control. Zero.
He can throw the ball far.
Exactly. I mean, we all knew Jalen Milroe has a cannon. If you watched him at all, you know that thing is a cannon. But where it's going is
the world may never know.
Right. So what does it mean? Oh, he's got the livest arm of anyone out here. The ball is jumping off his hand with zip. You saw that a lot yesterday. But where is it jumping to? Is it jumping to the right spot? Is it jumping into the fourth row? Where the heck?
Strong safeties.
Yes.
He runs up to pick off the seam up the middle that Jalen Milroe overthrows.
Just like that daggum Texas A&M interception 2 years ago at A&M. You throw the pick, and thankfully Downs got it right back. But you were balls up the seam. I'm throwing it up over his head. Safety right into his hands. You could. This is going to sound so bad because we've covered Jalen for so long, but now that the shift has gone from college to pro, my opinion and love for Jalen is all based on college football. You could not pay me money to draft him. And you're seeing, stupid mock drafts.
You think he's going to be one of those who does the letter in the Players Tribune, letter to all 32 GMs? My name's Jalen Milroe. I was born in Katy, Texas. Worked my whole life. I bet we're gonna get one. I think Justin Fields did one. I think Michael Penix did one. All of the fringe kind of. Are we sure about him? Quarterbacks.
I saw him at 3 yesterday on a mock draft. 3 overall.
What are we doing, folks?
I saw your Titans taking Shedeur. And who's at 2?
The Browns?
Yeah, I saw them taking Cam Ward, and the Giants are at 3, right? Mm-hmm. I saw the Giants take it. I wish I could. I should have saved it. I don't have it pulled up on my computer right now, but I thought, at 3 overall, have you lost your dadgum mind? You're going to get yourself fired.
I mean, especially if you were, in that instance, the Giants, who are already like Brian Dable, you're on as thin of ice. You're like on a sheet of saran wrap.
Brian Dable
water
hated coaching Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
okay, that's maybe an exaggeration. But Brian Dable, what I know. And granted, it's not the entire story, but I know some, is that Brian Daboll was one of the ones, Coach, we got to put 2 in. Coach, we got to put 2 in. Coach, we got to put 2 in. 2 is going to make this offense work. 2. He would hate coaching Jalen Milroe.
Yeah. Oh man, look. We've talked a lot. We've said a lot of good things about Jalen Milroe, and like you said, it is all based on his time spent as a college quarterback. He was a fantastic college quarterback. Excellent. You're just not built for the NFL. Not at that position. You are you're a freak athlete, and it sucks that someone of your caliber of athleticism is probably not going to find a role on an NFL team because that is kind of crazy. You'll be the dude who, he runs a 4.3. He has he looks the part, but you just don't really have the skill set of any of the positions out there. Unfortunately, you're kind of this weird tweener where, you do some things good as a quarterback, but then you don't do the most important things really good. And it's like, okay, you do some things maybe good as a running back, but you also don't do the most important things really well. It's just very, very hard to find a spot for him. Taysom Hill, we talked about it yesterday.
I would drive to let's just say the Bears. I would drive to Hallis Hall and protest if they drafted him.
I'd light myself on fire at the Titans facility.
Yes, because you are just signing up for 3.5 wasted years. You are just signing up for, oh my gosh, utter eyeball bleeding for 4 years of just what am I watching? And look, I would love to be wrong. Jalen, please prove me up. Please, yes. please. Put me on Cold Takes Exposed or Old Takes it. Please do it.
I would love to be wrong about this.
Do it. But I have no faith in that. I have zero faith in that. So yesterday, Mason's right. It's lots of bad performances, but the large prevailing narrative was, Jalen Milroe is the best quarterback down here. And you said you started by saying, I think it might be a mistake that he's done. No, I'm the best quarterback here, guys. Yeah. I'm the best of what we got in this terrible class. You better draft me in the top 5. And you said it yesterday. He's gonna be good in the meeting rooms. Mm-hmm. He's gonna shake hands and give everybody the right smile. And
now he might struggle a little bit when it gets down to the, all right, Jalen, you got a cover 2 with a guy blitzing. What are we gonna do? What are your 3 reads here? He may have a little hard time with those because I think he had a hard time with that at Alabama.
Yeah.
But yeah, he will do all of the little things. He will check all those boxes. All those little things. He'll answer the questions right. He'll have good answers for, what do you do in your free time? All that kind of. I read. I study. I watch film. He will answer all that stuff right, and he'll look everybody in the eye. He'll give them a firm handshake. Good, nice, clean smile. People will love it. He's very, very likable, and a lot of fans will probably sell themselves into liking him.
I remember asking him last year after the bye week, like the Monday after the bye week, Jalen, what you do over the weekend? You see a movie? You have dinner somewhere? I literally tried to tee it up for some activity. Oh, we stayed locked in. We were trying to get ready. And I was like, oh my God, I hate you so much. I hate you. Just say that you saw Gladiator 2 and it's fine. It's no problem. Whatever.
Oh man. Yeah. He's just the most
robot.
Final boss of all the Alabama quarterbacks, media buttoned up,
Big way more than I thought Bryce was buttoned up and
no, Bryce gave us at least a little bit.
So I think gosh, we might have 3 first-round picks because Booker's flying up boards too. 2 weeks ago when we complained about it, and I thought Booker a 3rd-round pick, that is absolutely crazy. Now I'm seeing Booker at 10 again, which is where we need him. 10, Booker at 10 to the Chicago Bears, please. That's what we need. And then Jihad Campbell at about 15 or so, or 12. Jalen Milroe at 3 to the Giants to tank that franchise
Campbell
further.
To the Cowboys just feels right.
That would be unfair.
That just feels right.
Jihad Campbell and Michael Parsons on the same team, I think would be legitimately unfair.
Mm-hmm. That feels like that would be a really good fit there. Because
one of them's playing on the edge every snap, and the other's playing basically stinger, inside back, or the other snap, and we're just rotating. We're just like, hey, you want to rush this time or you want to cover? Which one you want to do? Rush or cover?
If you want to see Jihad Campbell thrive his rookie year, throw him on that defense.
Then just go flip a coin. Rush or cover? Heads, you rush. Tails, I rush.
Sweet. Booker to your Bears would be good. Maybe to Carolina, get Bryce Young a little protection. At 8.
We don't care about baby Bryce anymore.
I care about Bryce.
Bryce, baby.
he bought me back in. You know, I had written him off, but he didn't write back.
Okay, we'll keep going with the Senior Bowl.
What do we think of? I'm blanking on his name now. 6'7" defensive lineman out of Kentucky. That is the big athletic freak everybody's losing their minds over. I saw a lot of people who were not overly impressed with his performance in the one-on-one drills yesterday, and maybe he's a bit more of a on-paper prospect than an actual
workout warrior.
Yeah,
underwear Olympics man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to. That's what you got to worry about this season.
Deone Walker.
Yeah, what did he do on the actual field at Kentucky? Probably nothing, because that name does not ring a bell at all. And people will get fooled. Oh, I can fix him.
6'6", 345, 13 tackles, 1.5 sacks in 2024.
Great player. Take him in the first round. You can make him be the best defensive lineman in the league. Great.
Don't let him fall to the Eagles, though.
Because they will make that work.
They will make that work. Yeah, they'll figure out how to make it happen. So if you're sitting there, maybe just scoop him up. You know.
Kalen DeBeor yesterday not shutting the door on Ryan Grubb.
Sure.
We spoke to the media, or he spoke to the media 10 minutes or so, and we had lots of the beat writers down there. Tony Sakalis, Colin Gray. Who else did I hear on the video? Matt Stahl, I think I heard on the video from AL.com. So lots of the friends down there at the Senior Bowl. Great job, guys. Keep it up. Hope everything's going well for you. I know that's not always an easy week, but good little scrum yesterday. And they asked, Colin Gray, Tuscaloosa News, asks about the potential hiring of Ryan Grubb. And it was a nothing quote. It was a almost nothing quote, but the quote was as follows. You know, we go way back. So he's a good friend of mine, and I think the world of him as a football coach, obviously as a person too. I know he's been working through his process after what last season brought, just kind of seeing what he does there, and I'm happy. Just seeing what he does there, and I'm here for him whenever he needs me. That's always going to be the case.
Really just kind of felt like, all right, ball's in his court, whatever he wants to do. If he doesn't find a job elsewhere, there's one here.
Exactly.
I think that's...
Well, he might get an offensive coordinator job somewhere, and so we're not trying to step in line. We're not trying to step on those, like, being an OC job somewhere. I don't know what might be open. But it definitely sounded like, well, he's trying to get a better job, but if he needs a job, we'll hire him as an analyst.
Yep. And that'd be awesome. I think, I'll take it. Sure. I would love to have, even if things in Seattle this year were not always sunshine and rainbows for that offense, I think there were some good things there. And, the NFL is just a different beast from college in and of itself. So, always welcome any NFL experience on the staff if that is the case this year. But yeah, I think he just basically put the ball in Ryan Grubb's court there of just figure it out. We'll be here if you don't find anything.
I think that was exactly. He's my friend. He's looking for a good job right now. If you can't find a good job, we'll just give him one of our analyst jobs. We'll and look, that'd be great for the staff. It would be. But it definitely sounded like I ain't firing anybody right now to make room for him. Mm-hmm. And it definitely sounded like we're here as a fallback option because he's spent 2 years with him at Sioux Falls, 2 years with him at Washington, and 2 years with him at Fresno State. They've had other stints apart when I looked at it yesterday. Just don't know that, people think, oh, bring him in. Oh, it's going to fix the offense. I think the offense is going to be. Am I stupid? Am I naive to think the offense is going to be good anyways with or without him?
I don't think so. Given what we saw from the limitations this year, let's just say it due to the quarterback position, and what we at least think we have in the quarterback position for next year, I think it's reasonable to think that things are going to open up a lot next year. Now, all of that is speculation. We don't know. Ty Simpson could go out and be terrible. Austin Mack could go be terrible. And Keelan Russell could be terrible. Who knows? I think it's highly unlikely that all three of those things happen.
While Dylan Lanigan balls out at Boston College.
That is going to happen.
Yes, it is.
He is going to throw 40 touchdowns next year with 2 interceptions.
Yes. like a 78% completion percentage.
It'll be 2,500 yards.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. All the touchdowns will be red zone touchdowns, and everybody will see that box score and be like,
Then somebody will he'll get drafted in the 5th, 6th, 7th round maybe, and then he'll go lead a team to he'll go pull Brock Purdy,
Tom Brady-esque. Okay, so I don't think we're hiring Ryan Grubb, but I don't think the
door's closed yet.
Sure. I think that if he can't find a job, then he will probably end up working. Alabama tried to hire him twice. Nick Saban tried to hire him. Kalen DeBeor tried to hire him last year. It just seems like he doesn't like the South.
Oh, yeah, do you think he just doesn't like Tuscaloosa and he's really trying to not get a job there?
Yes,
or here?
That's what it sounds like.
It's just he's like,
without knowing him.
It's like, I know, man. I got you, Kalen. I know the job's there. I don't want it that bad.
So, yeah, everybody, we just hire right. Maybe he doesn't want to be here. Last thing for us, Kalen DeBeor at the media scrum praised Ty Simpson for his diligence and basically said, he's excited about the quarterback room, but we don't have a lot of snaps in the quarterback room. And people went into crazy mode on the comment section. Well, you could have played Ty Simpson in the bowl game. You had a whole game of snaps in the ReliaQuest Bowl to play.
What is one half change? Like that's
you gonna win the job in a half?
Exactly. Like that is such a one half as opposed to no half. That's a negligent. It's a meaningless difference. It means nothing.
You want to throw Ty Simpson out there with 4 scholarship receivers? And one of them being Jalen Milroe, who's barely played the position. Do you? You want to throw him out there with Rico Scott at that time? I mean, Rico looks like he's going to be a good player. That's no hate on you, Rico. No. If you're watching, I think he's going to be a great player. But inexperienced at that time. Use your brains, people. At the end of the time, the ReliaQuest Bowl was a finish line. It was not a starting point for 2025. It was a good God, let's get through the finish line and be done with this 12-month marathon that was.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. For people to even think that, to think that had he played that half of football, that would have really given him any meaningful advantage in this quarterback battle is stupid. Just plain and simple. That is a stupid way to think. But also, to think that like you should have thrown him out there in the first place, like you said, with only 4 scholarship receivers, with an offensive line that couldn't block a soul.
Not at all.
It's such a flawed line of thinking, and you have done zero, oversight, you have taken into account zero bit of the context surrounding that situation, and you have solely focused in on Jalen Milroe did something bad. We need to replace him. It is not that simple. Football is one of the most complicated games on the planet. There's 11 guys all working together for one common goal. Not like that in many other sports. It is not as simple as just pluck him out, put the next guy in. You can't do it. And you don't know the sport if you think you can.
I love the college football video games and Madden and everything that I grew up on, but I think it's ruined a lot of perspectives. Well, this guy's 78 overall. This guy's 79 overall. Let's just play the 70. Play this out. What happens if Ty Simpson played the ReliaQuest Bowl and played amazing? Amazing. Let's say what's an amazing line. Let's say he went 22 of 26 for 280 and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he had a rushing touchdown. Great. He had one in the red zone. Great. 4 tutties for him.
Yep.
What does that do in the building for the spring competition between Austin Mack and Keelan Russell? I don't think that's very good. Because I think you want to make all 3 of them feel everybody's on equal footing. We're starting from the starting point. Obviously, Simpson, his experience, that's going to give him, you're the first up.
I think it's also worth, if he had done that, we would be sitting here talking about, well, he did it against backups.
Yes. you play that card, and then you play you should have played them all year card.
Yeah.
Which also is not the same context at all. And so, all right, we'll take the other side of the coin. He goes out there and it bombs. He's 6 of 24 for 100 yards and 2 interceptions and no touchdowns. And you're 0 of 8 on third down. What does that do?
You just went from having 3 quarterbacks competing for the competition to now you have 2. Ty Simpson, you can write him off. Confidence is shot. He's probably hitting the transfer portal.
Yes, use your brains, people. You think it's, and I don't want to say the R word, but I think they just got so upset over Jalen Milroe that they just wanted something else. So we'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun this spring. I just think that, well, further this same conversation, this same take. Kalen DeBeor also was like, "Oh yeah, things have been better in the program, inside the program since the season's over." And everybody
taking it and running with it,
taking it and pointing it at Jalen Milroe, pointing it at everybody who's left the program. I don't think that Coach Kalen DeBeor was trying to say anything at all.
And I think the quote, I think it was just, it feels a lot different this offseason. I don't even think he necessarily said it feels better. I think it was just, it feels a lot different.
Well, I can find the quote pretty quickly.
People want to take it and flip it, and he didn't even really say what people are pointing it out as. Everybody, it goes, it's the same with the Mark Sears thing. Everybody wants to make a story out of nothing. Create something when there's nothing there.
You said different was the quote?
I believe it was. I think it was just, it feels a lot different.
Yep. Okay. His quote, there's a lot of good things already happening. It already feels a lot different internally as we turn the page into 2025. From the first team meeting, which was less than 2 weeks after our bowl game, just excited about what's happening, the work that's being put in. Again, you use your brain. What happened 12 months ago? We're coming in and I am introducing myself. Hey guys, I know you're shell-shocked because you just lost the greatest coach ever and you don't know what to do with yourselves. And I'm Kalen DeBeor. Hope you're doing good.
Would you have wanted them to say it's exactly the same this offseason as it was last year?
Yeah, we're still getting to know our team. We're still trying to figure out what the heck we're doing. We're still trying to figure out which way the bathroom is in the office. Like
what do you people want?
We're still trying to figure out how to use the clickers on the film machine. Of course it feels different.
Whew. Man. A lot of narratives getting created this week.
It's the off season, Mason. Everybody's clinging to little words and making what they can make out of them. I guess that's our job as the media.
They just can't ramble like you and I.
Have we? We haven't been rambling. We've been on track, somewhat.
Oh, I mean, I just consider rambling as us just being able to talk
about.
I mean, we're on topic, but I think you can ramble on topic.
All right. Well, we need to wrap this bad boy up. Let's get ready to go over to Starkville. Hunter Cyber is going to be there for us at BamaCentral.com. You can follow the game with Hunter Cyber. I believe we'll be on SEC Network. All the action will be right there at BamaCentral.com as well. Mason and I will be back in the building tomorrow in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios to talk about the win or the loss, who played, who didn't, what the drama is and isn't, right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.